today on Candid Conversations. It's an honor to have you on the platform. And this is just a space where I love conversing with people who are entrepreneurs and creatives who have an inspiring story to share. So thank you for taking your time out today to talk to me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah. So I think what the first thing that I'd love to ask you is, I see a lot of your posts on LinkedIn and the things that you do, which is amazing. But, how did you grow up and how did your upbringing inspire your entrepreneurial journey? And how do you think it set you up for your path now in life?
So I think, firstly, I grew up growing up, there were like 3 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now there's 5, but we were 3, which was me, my identical twin, and an older brother who was 3 years older than us. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so having an identical twin already sets you up for that comparison. So you're constantly being compared, right? Because everyone says you're the same, you think the same, the common question of who's smarter, who's faster, who's bigger, who's taller. So you get used to always being compared, right? So growing up, I think it was always about finding something that makes you feel like, you're doing something, and so for me, I was kind of raised more towards being confident in myself, finding value in myself, knowing that I'm not made by what's around me. I'm not made by what I wear or what I have, but I'm made by who I am, right? And those values seemed so unrelated to what I'm currently into now, right? But when you sort of look at it, the being in entrepreneurship is about creating value, right?
Yeah.
Certain things that I really am passionate about now are grounded on those principles of finding value in something and not just looking for value in what other people might find value in, right? So I think the principles that I was raised with sort of in a way drew me towards certain activities where I felt that those principles would sort of come alive, right?
Yeah.
Where being always compared to my twin made me want to be distinct and want everything I want to be distinct. And maybe that sort of subconsciously influenced the naming of my first company, Bespoke, right? Subconsciously, how it influenced it. And looking at my interest in marketing and personal branding, it's about having someone communicate their value, having someone communicate their authenticity, right? How they are different from everyone else.
Yeah.
And those are like values of finding value in you, in yourself, in what you can do and how you can make others feel and what you do for the world. And sort of like growing up as a twin, always being compared, those sort of like influenced subconsciously everything that I do.
Yeah.
And it's not something I've
I love how you focus so much on being authentic and being truly you in your space, and it looks like it's inspired a lot of the things you do. How important was it for you to find yourself in the space of being a twin, and being the same as someone else physically? How important was it for you to find your own authenticity so that when you do embark on your entrepreneurial endeavors, everything that you do radiates from who you are as opposed to who everyone else thinks you should be?
I think, like just that constant comparison and stuff, it pushes you, right? I think at first it was more of competitive, and sometimes it would be something that I wouldn't be comfortable with, because imagine most of the time you're called by a name that's not yours. Most of the time people use you for someone else. I met someone who we went to school with way back in like grade 5, right? And my Valentine back in grade 5. And we had a conversation, I think 2 years back, and she was like, wait, wasn't my Valentine the twin, right? And then you find out years later that she thought that her Valentine was the other guy. So it sort of like predisposes you to imposter syndrome. Right?
Yeah.
So that thing, it creates this environment where you're always compared, where you try so hard. I tried so hard to make myself different. Maybe take on a different sport. If we're in the same sport, I'd rather leave the sport and go to another sport that he doesn't play, right? And you'd fight like so hard to be different and prove that you are different. And then at some point, I mean, this is where the actual change happens, where you start accepting the fact that you are different, even though you look the same to people, and it doesn't matter how people see you. And it's not about how their perception of you, it's about who you are in yourself, and acknowledging that you are different. And instead of feeling the need to always seem different, just be yourself and be authentic to who you are, and not succumb to the pressure of everyone expecting you to wear the same clothes, like the same things, study the same things, have the same interest, be at the same place at the same time. I mean, I get asked a lot when someone would ask you, oh, how are you, right? And you'd say, I'm good, right? And the conversation would carry on. For me, it's, how are you? Now I'm doing good. Oh, how's your twin? You see, now another person who constantly features into the conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's very social, and I'm also social, but he has this thing, he connects with people. I also connect with people, but on a social level, like on a vibey level, youthful level. He connects with people quicker there. So he's, in a way, the cooler twin, right? He's more current and he's up to date. So imagine having a twin like that, and then always it's a matter of, oh, how's your twin? We heard your twin was doing 1, 2, 3. Oh, your twin looks so cool. Why don't you work on your outfit? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It puts that sort of pressure, and I had to navigate that and find who I am, and just acknowledge that I am different, I'm unique, I'm distinct. I might have the same face as someone else, and we allegedly have the same voice, right? But my being is different. And after having found that and being able to appreciate the difference instead of fighting it, but just appreciating it, to say, I have my own interests and it's okay. I have my own passion and it's okay. And I can like this and do that and it's okay. Once having found that, I got more comfortable in doing things. For instance, my family ventured into the science field. My twin is studying towards pharmacy, right? My older brother is he's a scientist, right? And he's into science. And it's always been science everywhere. And I just branched into commerce and entrepreneurship. So it's kind of like, I wouldn't say the black sheep, right? Because I don't think it's a black sheep behavior.
Not even.
You see. So after being in that and comfortable in, I am different and I don't need to take the same path as everyone else, I started going on and got comfortable understanding that not everyone will understand it. Not everyone in my family will, because they have a similar sort of inclination towards a certain field, certain topics and stuff. And I just had to get comfortable being the lone ranger on my side, right?
I think you just gave so many people who are different hope, because not everyone has an identical twin, but people do find themselves in situations where they struggle to be authentic in their space because of how people would react. So I think you definitely set a lot of people free in, giving them permission to be, authentic. And one thing that was obviously birthed out of your authenticity was your company, Bespoke Innovations. Tell us more about that and what inspired you to start that business.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny story, right? And I'm happy to tell it. So I've actually, the concept of entrepreneurship or just commerce in general started in grade 2. Right?
Okay.
And it's with me and my twin selling our lunchbox, right? So in grade 2, we moved from a day scholar school to a boarding school that had scholars, and we were day scholars, right? So would get like a lunchbox every day. For me, coming from home, getting a lunchbox is nothing special, right? For someone who's at boarding and who is exposed to the same shop with the same food and the same things, they feel like it's dull, right? I feel like my lunchbox is dull. That time, my mom would pack a lunchbox, and some days she'd just make us hot dogs, right, for lunch. But we would know that I can always go back home and ask for hot dogs again, pretend that I love them so much, right? And one person came and was like, hey, can I have your hot dog? I was like, no, it's my lunch. And he was like, I will buy it from you for 5 rand. 5 rand was a lot, right? 5 rand was a lot. And like 5 rand, I didn't even get pocket money, right? Because my mom had of, why do you need pocket money? You've got lunch. And anything you need, if you need anything at the tuck shop, I can buy it for you and pack it in your lunchbox, right? And I sold my lunchbox and told my twin, and he sold his lunchbox.
Oh, wow.
And from there, it was like, wow, you could make money just like that, right? And from there, it sort of grew. Then we sold marbles, marbles, because they were boarding kids. They like playing with marbles. They would use them all the time. So we'd literally be going home and ask mom, please buy marbles, right? And would sell them. And then we started selling roses on Valentine's Day. And we started selling different stuff, right?
Wow.
And it went on high school. In high school, now we're selling popcorn, sweets. Do you get what I'm saying? And so it's sort of like that interest in commerce, right? But with this current company, with Bespoke Innovations, when I was doing first year, I tried to start 2 businesses. They both went nowhere, right? But it was good. Testing out a new idea. I was like, you know what? I need to create a clothing brand, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to create a clothing. Okay, cool. I tried to do that, had all the sketches and everything. It didn't fly, right? Because I didn't have enough like insight and experience, right? In that. The beautiful thing about entrepreneurship is that you learn by doing.
True.
It's like you're a child. You learn by playing. You have to start. You have to just start, right? And figure it out as it goes. And so that didn't work out. I spent 6 months working on it, believing in it, like this thing is gonna happen, And that's the thing with entrepreneurship. You always believe that what you're currently doing is gonna work out.
It's gonna succeed.
Because to be an entrepreneur, you need that it's gonna succeed despite everything else. And it went on, and it didn't succeed. And everyone who said I told you so said I told you so. It's okay. And then I was like, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I don't need to make a clothing brand. Maybe I need to have an online store and have other people sell their clothing brands, right?
Okay.
And I started looking into that. Then I started looking how to have an online store and stuff like that. Another 6 months, boom, flat. Nah, it didn't work out, right? But I saw a common thread in those 2 things. With the clothing brand, I was able to put together sketches, designs, set up like social media accounts, build a website and stuff like that, convince people that it actually existed, right? And people were ready to buy, but I didn't have a product with the clothing brand. With the online store, I set it up, but now the place I set it up, it was in dollars and stuff like that. It wouldn't work out. It would take so many days for the shipment to come to South Africa, right? And I was like, no, I'm gonna wanna pay this much and it's not gonna work, right? But I was like, but with these 2 things, I was able to market them and get people to believe in them. And that's when I saw that I have a unique gift of telling stories, of making people believe and making them see something, right? And this could be something that I'm putting forward to them. It could be an idea. It could be a product. It could be them. When I ventured into personal branding as well, which is not something that I do mainly for commercial purposes, but rather to help people find like their own voice and stuff. I started realizing that I was telling people who they were, but could not see. Because sometimes people don't see, they don't really see who they are and the impact they have, right? So then I was like, oh, I'm able to sell ideas, communicate ideas. Why don't I make this my business? Because clearly I'm doing it well. And Instead of starting my own clothing brand, rather find a clothing brand that's there and help them to speak and help them to have a voice, help them to communicate their
Yes.
value. See, and I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do. My gift is connecting people to ideas, to products, to services, to experiences. And that will, right? And that's where the whole concept of bespoke innovations came about, right? Of marketing and branding and helping people see the value in what they are doing.
What I love about that is the fact that you found that out once you started your first venture, which is the clothing store, then the second one, which is the online store. Had you not gone through that process, I don't think you would have fully conceptualized the capacity of your gift, which is so, so beautiful. And, how would you encourage other people to take a first step in starting whatever business or idea that they have, even if they can't really fully put out the map and say, this is where I want to be? How would you encourage, someone else to take a leap of faith and see what they could become?
I know it's gonna sound cliche, but just start. But here's why. I'm gonna go into why you should start. Like you should start because one, you believe in it. You shouldn't start because other people believe in it. Most of the time, people don't believe in it until they actually see that it's coming about, right? And by the time you see someone for who they are, for what they are doing and what they are pushing, they've already invested so much in it. They don't pop up overnight, right? So you should start because one, you believe in it, right? And if you believe in it, you should act towards it. And you shouldn't know how the end should look like. At some point, I had a time where I thought I need to know what the end's gonna look like. If I'm starting a podcast, I need to have everything figured out. I need to know what platform, what time. And the truth is, you don't need to know all that. All you need to know is, what do you want to achieve, right? From the moment you say candid conversations, you are done. Just by saying candid conversation, you are done, right? You know what it's about. It's about having candid conversations. How everything else will work itself out
around that.
Shouldn't you should just take the step. Okay, I started it. Maybe I should get a logo. Okay, here's a logo, right? What you have and don't have should never be the basis of what you do. Resource should never be a limitation for you to move forward, right? So I would say start because you believe it and start because you are gonna do it. The only end you need to know is I am gonna do it, right?
Powerful.
And that's all you need to see. See the end. Don't see nothing else but the end. You will be forced to do things to get to the end. And those things can always change. There'll always be pivoting. The first idea I had of what bespoke innovations would be and what it is now is different. And chances are years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, even tomorrow, the whole concept could change. COVID-19 this year, I had to rethink some of the things and what we have to do. But the end is in mind. If the end is in mind, is we should always be there to help people tell their stories, right? Whatever happens in between will happen. Whether it's candid conversations on a podcast, whether you're having them on video, whether they'll be in person, it doesn't really matter, but they will be conversations, right? And that's why you should start. You should start because you want to, and because you believe in it, and because you are gonna do it. It's guaranteed. You are guaranteed. It's not in the balance. It's not a might or might not. Right? You are guaranteed. I mean, there's this saying, they say if you stick around the barber shop long enough, you're gonna get a haircut.
Love that. Love that. That's so powerful. I want to go back to your business a bit to talk about what you do in terms of helping young people and businesses tell their stories. How important do you think it is to have companies like yours, especially in Africa, where it's very hard for small to medium enterprises to market their ideas properly? How do you think companies like yours really accelerate the path to encouraging the growth of small to medium enterprises, with good marketing strategies and branding strategies that they can use?
Yeah, I think the importance of it, I'll start with the importance, right? The importance of it is that everything that you see as a small business is a big business just a couple of years earlier, right? So when I look at SMMEs, when I look at people, I don't see them for where they are now. I see them for where they're going.
Yes.
Right? And if you look at them now, you'd be like, chances are they won't be able to pay me. They might default on a payment. This is so much work, so much strategy, and this person, they are too risky. That's why people ignore small businesses and SMEs and startups. And I'm not gonna lie and say it's an easy path. It's not easy, right? Because when you look at it, the same thing that I could be doing for a small business, I could be doing for a bigger business, right? And whether I'm working with a bigger business or a small business, the quality of work has to be the same, right? Because, and it also takes more effort to help a smaller business because now I have to tailor everything. I've not found two people or two organizations that had the exact same need, right? They always need you to tailor the package. And then what's the industry norm? The more tailored you want something, the higher you pay. But here, with people who you tailor something, but they can't necessarily pay higher, but you believe in them and you see it as an investment. Right?
True.
And one of our goals is to make sure that to make it as easy as possible to access marketing services. It's an ongoing goal. It's an ongoing pursuit, right? And then it's for 2030 to say, you must be able to say, I want to start Candid conversations and I want to market it well. I might not have all the money. And with just like 3 clicks, you must be able to have your social media accounts, your content and everything done and pay, let's say 300 Rand for all of that, right? That's the goal. It's crazy, but that's the goal. To make it so easy to make marketing like the 5 cents on the floor, right?
Yeah.
So it's so accessible. Make it accessible to smaller businesses, right? And I think that's the importance of it because it's not just a small business. It's not just a person. That's a mother. It's a father. It's an aunt. It's an uncle. It's a business that is gonna provide jobs for people. And if you are in the business of helping people, my service to those businesses is impact. And one of the things that we do frequently is do like pro bono work, right? And usually this is targeted at like non-profit organizations and stuff to say, look, I really believe in this and we really believe in what you do. We'll do this strategy for you or we'll help you with this. And it's not always easy, right? It's not always easy. Time and resources, and sometimes you are stretched because you have this project this side and here's a project which you are doing pro bono, and when you're doing it pro bono, it's from the goodness of people's hearts and stuff like that, but it doesn't exempt you from business challenges, right? Because others have that question of, I keep investing time in this and it's costing me like the time I could be spending on something else, but you still need to remind yourself why you're doing it, right? So that's, for me, like the importance around it and how we go about it. We try to tailor it as much as possible, keep the packages and pricing flexible, try to understand. I think one thing that helps us is understanding the person. So when you walk or you email or the conversation begins, it's less about you being a client or a business, but more about, what does your business do? What do you aim to achieve in it? And connecting to your vision. Because once you connect to someone's vision, then you become their friend. And when you become their friend, you start thinking less about how much money can I get from them, and more towards how much impact can I make in their business, in their
Yeah.
helps you stick on, even though the numbers are not the ones you want to see, but it helps you stick on.
True. I actually made a post on LinkedIn. I think you liked it a few days ago that said that, with Candid Conversations, even if cash flows aren't coming in at the moment, the intention and the purpose of what you're doing is always going to keep you pushing forward. And so I completely understand that. I'm just very interested, though, in knowing, as someone who, is doing well in your business and you're putting yourself out there, I can only imagine the amount of personal leadership that you have to exercise for yourself, because they say that before you can be a leader in front of people, you have to be a leader over yourself. What tips can you give, people for their own personal development, so that in whatever space they're in, whether it's business or academia, they can be their best self? Because ultimately, everything we do emanates from who we are, right?
Yeah. Be kind to yourself will be the first one. Because I've realized that over time, when you have dreams, when you have goals that you set for yourself, especially if you like setting crazy goals and crazy dreams, you tend to be hard on yourself, right? I tended to be very hard on myself to say, this is not where I thought I'd be in 2 years. This is not where I thought I'd be in 3 years. No, this is not working out. Maybe I need to put in more time. Oh, it's not growing as fast as I wanted to grow. Or I'm not doing what I thought I'd be doing. You can say, and you just need to. I think that's the first one I'd give. Be kind to yourself, and being kind to yourself involves not saying be easy on yourself, but understand. Just understand. Like, I need to understand that Phenyo is Phenyo, and when Phenyo doesn't do well, I need to step out of me being Phenyo and step into it from an external point of view. The same way I love other people, the same way I give other people a chance, and I try to comfort them when they're going through the most. I need to comfort myself when I'm going through the most, right? Instead of just being like, yeah, Phenyo, you didn't meet the target. Yeah, Phenyo, you've been selected. Be kind to yourself, because you're going to be with better than anyone will be, right? So at least make sure that you are your own happy place. So be kind to yourself. Another one for personal development would be read. Right? Read as much as you can. Read books. Some people prefer watching videos or podcasting, right? I prefer books. And the reason why I say read, look, I'm not coming from a privileged perspective, right? But I am a privileged person. I'm privileged. I had the ability or the option to dream, and not everyone has that. If you are able to have a dream, you are doing better than most of the people in the country, right? As I don't want to make it about race, right? But it's South Africa. As a Black person in South Africa, already your dreams are sort of limited. The first time I came to Joburg, I think was when I came to Vast, right? Where I actually got to experience it myself, right? And I think the first time I used an email was because I needed to create it to apply online. I knew what an email was, fortunately, right? Which a lot of people till way later, right? But you understand that how those things shape who you are, in the sense that when you grow up in a place where you can't have everything, where you have the situation of, no, that thing is too expensive. No, you can't have that now. No, wait for this time and stuff. Those things low-key limitations on your mind. So they put you in the perspective of, I can't have everything. There's a cost to everything. There's not enough. Sometimes there's not enough money. Sometimes there's not enough. So it puts you in like limitations. No, you can't go to that school because it's in a certain price range or it's in a certain province and stuff like that. No, you can't order that because, and all these things, the socioeconomic factors, they sort of affect your dream. So you don't find someone in where I come from saying, I want to be a billionaire, right? Why? Because they're not exposed to it, right? You don't find someone saying, I want to start candid conversations, right? In certain areas. The fact that you had the idea and said, I want to do it. For some people, that's a possibility. How do you start something and start interviewing people? Do you get what I'm saying? And that's a privilege, right? It is a privilege. So I've been privileged with that. And what I've seen is that by reading books, right? It can be any book, but I prefer books that are focused on the mind, on personal development, maybe a few areas of interest like entrepreneurship and technology, and that they sort of open up your mind to new possibilities. Suddenly you read about someone who did something. You read about someone who created a plane and how they had little resources. You read someone's autobiography and see their struggles and relate them to your own. Now you are able to dream, right? And once you are able to dream, you are able to achieve, because you can't achieve anything that you can't imagine.
Oh, that's so powerful.
If you can't see it, you can't do it, because it's not even in your mind. You know, for some people, they don't even think that they can sit down with the president. It's not even a possibility to them. But there are some people who maybe are in the close vicinity of the president or people that they know. And for them, chatting to the president is something that's in their view. And the mere fact that they know that they can call the president or call the president's child to talk with the president makes them able to dream that, oh, I can also talk with another president from another country, simply because if I have access to this one, I'll have access to that.
Yeah.
So someone who is used to like being in an environment where there are no limitations has better chances of achieving in life than someone who's always used to like limitations and all of that. So reading, exposing yourself, seeing things. Even if you're not traveling a lot yet, travel online. Look at vlogs, look at travel. Show yourself, see the world on a screen. Because when you see the world on a screen, when you're writing down your dream list or wish list or goals, you can say, have a boat ride in Venice, even though you've not been to Italy, right?
Yeah.
But it's in your, you can see it. And it's a goal and you work towards it, right? So reading, so to yourself, read. Reading, consume information. It can be reading, it can be audio, it can be that, like, but expand your mind. And so be kind to yourself, read. And the last one would be believe, right? Believe it's possible. It doesn't doing anything or setting your eyes on anything if you feel like you won't be able to achieve it, right? And for me, that really stems a lot from what I do. Right? I'm a faith-bound person, right? And even though someone might not be a faith-bound person, but I believe there's something to be learned from it, right? I believe in God, and I believe that we're made in God's image. And if you're made in someone's image, literally you're a representation of who they are, right?
Yeah.
And if in creation God could say, let there be light, and there was light, let there be animals and stuff like that, and that happened, then how much more about my words, about how I speak about myself? Maybe I also have the power to create my reality.
Yeah.
Think of anything you've done. Every single thing that you've been able to achieve today, one day you said it and you imagined it. So you've been creating your reality your whole life. When you ask, Mom, can I have that sweet? Even if she says no today, but one day you're going to have that sweet. And it all started with desire for it and setting your eyes on it and believing that it is achievable, right? And I think believing is important, and having a childlike belief. Believe like a child. If I tell my siblings I'm going to get you a helicopter tomorrow, they're going to believe me. Even if it doesn't come tomorrow, they're still going to believe. You know how children have this undying belief that anything is. And that's exactly how we should be living our lives, to say it's not over until it looks like what I want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So believe.
Okay, so I guess it's read, believe, and be kind to yourself. Those are very, very three key things that I definitely took away from that. And you know, through all of the things that you've said, I wanted to know, how do you want to leave a legacy in your environment, in your community, through your business, or whatever other endeavors you you take up, what is it that you want to leave different in your environment when you are no longer there?
I mean, there's a saying, not necessarily a saying, but there's something that I wrote a while back as a kid, and it was a reflection. And what I wrote was, live for others. That way you have no life of your own to lose when you die. Right? And it's always sort of like driven me and been like a light for me to say, in whatever it is that I'm doing, let someone benefit.
Yeah.
You can forget the 10 rand you spent on yourself, but you don't forget the 10 rand someone gave you when you needed it. So it doesn't really matter how much success I accumulate for myself. If it's not able to help the next person, then is it really success?
Yeah.
Is it moving humanity forward? Right? So the legacy I want to live is I want to be remembered as someone who dared to dream, but also dared to make sure that his dreams became the reality of other people's dreams. So in whatever success that I find, let it make someone's dream possible. If I am successful, let it inspire someone. Let it inspire someone to be more, to do more, to give more, right?
Yeah.
If I am wealthy, let it be someone else's wealth. Let them benefit from it. Let people see that like that's the legacy I want to live. That, you know, that guy, the more he succeeded, the more society succeeded. The more he learned, the more he taught. The more he received, and that's just the legacy that I want to live.
I think that's so beautiful, because the one thing we don't think about when we think about success is how success is connected to service. Prosperity is connected to service. I once listened to a lady named Lisa Nichols, and she said that your abundance and prosperity is on the other side of service. And the fact that your legacy is aimed at or directed at serving other people is so important. And how would you encourage others to, you know, let go of their own selfish and egotistical ones to integrate service into their legacy or purpose?
I think about the people that have surrounded you, right? Think about the time you had a good day, the time you had a good experience, whether it was at a restaurant or maybe you were in an Uber or in a taxi. Someone had to make your day. You know, when you said I had a good day, if you look deep into it, someone did something that you liked. Whether it was the cashier who smiled at you or treated you nicely, whether it was the time where you dropped the ice cream at McDonald's and they gave you another one. Someone chose to do something that they did not have to do.
Yeah.
And it had an impact in your life. And everything that we see around us was made and contributed to by people who we might not even know. And let's just acknowledge our place in everything. We are part of the system. We are not the system. We are part of the system. We're going to live, and then we're going to die. And then other generations will live, and then other generations will die. So at the end of the day, it won't really matter how much you accumulated for yourself, right? Because everything's going to be left on the earth. So think about how you can change someone's life. You know, I was once asked what the definition of love is, right? It was at this retreat, and they asked us to define love. And the of love was, love is seeing other people the same way you see yourself. So if you want to succeed, if you want to feel loved and you want people to care for you, be care to other people. Be whatever you want yourself to receive to other people. And once you have that, once you have love and you have love for people, you will be able to do things for other people and see how it also impacts you. Because you don't lose by giving, you actually gain.
True. Yeah. Thank you so much, Phenyo. Thank you for the interview, and thank you for joining me today. It was highly appreciated, and I think everything you said is going to impact all of the people who watch this, and I cannot thank you enough for that. Where can people get in touch with you or get a hold of you if they want to, use your services from your business or any other personal branding?
So if you'd like to get in touch with me, I'm super active on LinkedIn. It's my
Yes, he
favorite platform.
is.
So LinkedIn, Phenyo Mabokela. You can go over to my website, phenyomabokela.com, and there you will just find a bit about me. There's also the How to LinkedIn guide, which you can download on the About page, right? And there's also a contact form there. Email and stuff. In terms of business, marketing, digital marketing strategy, .co.za, or marketing at bespokeinnovations.co.za. And yeah, but if you reach me on any platform, literally, if you just Google Phenyo Mabokela, you'll find different places to just reach me. And I'm always open, and I'm always, I try my best to be online. I consider online my second home. I hope it ends up being my.
All right. Thank you so much, Phenyo. Thank you for joining us in Candid Conversations. And I cannot wait to chat with you again, hopefully soon. And all the best for all of your business endeavors.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate the opportunity for being here. I appreciate the platform and what it stands for. And I really believe that it's going to be very impactful. And to anyone who's watching this now, I'd like to thank you for watching it till this point. And I encourage you to watch the next one and the next and the next, because these things add to who you are. And though you may not see it, you don't know what you will hear. It might just spark change in your life.
True.
And this is the place.
True. To more Candid Conversations.